Okay, so this is part 2 of transferring leads. I'm going to show you what to do. So we've gone through the decision tree. We ended up at the final page here, which is the thank you page. And now we're going to go in and see what's happened to the lead and has it transferred to ActiveCampaign. So go under leads and you will see that the leads are listed. So as you can see, I've just gone through. That's my using LeadsHook course is my decision tree. That's the ESP. That's the list it's going to. Let's have a look at what we see. So I'm going to see a whole lot of details about my data entry, my questions and answers, and the tags. So the tags will also get passed over through to ActiveCampaign. Now let's just check and see if this lead is transferred. Let's do trace, and it says pending. So we're just going to go ahead and refresh that, and it hasn't transferred over so far. So let's go ahead and just takes anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes, depending on how big the queue is at ActiveCampaign. We normally fire the lead over to ActiveCampaign as fast as possible. Let's have a quick look to see what pops up. About a minute or two, and therefore transferred is yes, and that's the result response from ActiveCampaign. So everything's gone through and the lead has successfully transferred over. If I just go ahead and refresh this now, that'll change to transferred. So there you go. All right, so that explains in a nutshell what to do in terms of how the transfer takes place. So just to show you what's happened, not quite that. Is right over here. So it's gone through, grabbed the opt-in, fired off the lead to ActiveCampaign, and then shown the final results page. So that's the testing, the troubleshooting. Everything's working really, really well. Now you can go ahead and go live and send traffic to this page. If this page is where you want to send your traffic to, which would be your kind of like your link in your URL in your ads, I should say, or with the URL in the email that you send out, so people can get to this page. So that pretty much concludes transferring of leads. I do want to take a few minutes just to see about troubleshooting. Let's say you've gone through and the lead hasn't come through. So what's the first thing you do? So step 1 is to see whether LeadsHook saved the lead. Right? So see if you can find the lead over here. If you can't find it over here, then obviously the lead is not saving, which means you have not activated the decision tree, or you're still sitting in preview mode. In preview mode, LeadsHook does not save any data. So you're going to remove the preview mode to see that. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to check for, to see, do I have the lead over here? Second thing to check for is any error messages. So the error messages will pop up right over here. And now if there is no error message, then there's a very good chance that the integration hasn't worked. So if that's the case, we go to lead collection and we see whether you see any warning signs over here. And none over here, so which means everything's working. To double test and see if your integration is still live, go ahead and pick your list and you should see the field mapping pop up. So that's telling me that I can actually actively log into ActiveCampaign. Through using the API, that is. So if you can't do this, then something's wrong in ActiveCampaign. It's not allowing me to log in. Could be one of two things: my integration is broken, or ActiveCampaign has closed my account, or an unpaid account, or something's happened to inside ActiveCampaign. See if you can log in and see if the account is still live and active. If it is, then there's a problem with the integration. If you can't do this. So that's the first thing you want to check for, is go ahead and, so obviously a couple of things you can do. You can just go ahead and cancel, disconnect the connection and delete and start from scratch. But if it is connecting, then make sure your field mapping is done. Email is the only required field for your leads to transfer. Make sure that you have mapped your fields, especially the email field, because that's the unique identifier that ActiveCampaign, most of the email service providers use. You need an email address for it to be called a contact, subscriber, or a lead in any of these third-party platforms. So make sure you go ahead and check for that. Once that's done, just rerun the test. Sometimes it's also a matter of being patient because we are transferring it to a third-party platform. They may have a queue on the other side. We've seen sometimes queue of up to 5 to 10 minutes in some platforms where you've transferred the lead, but it's joined the queue on their end, so they haven't fired a response back to you. So if that's the case, just wait a couple of minutes, check in the third-party platform and see if the lead has arrived. That's basically it. And if none of those work, get back to us for support and we can help you out. All right, so that concludes the video on this short training on leads transfers, and we have tested it. Now let's go through and work out the last bit, which is to add some tracking in. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video where we're going to go through the tracking. Thank you, and bye for now.